Yes,
Maxi, the pounder on the pig.
Can you believe that this is happening? I mean, I just want to ask, especially the people from the Anglophone zone, is this true? Is this what is really happening in Cameroon right now? Samuel Eto'o has been crowned a fund for those who are members of CSDP, the Cameroon Sustainable Development Project, for those who are nation builders, for those who harbor this mindset of the Cameroon dream. To every Cameroonian, both home and abroad, pay attention to what I'm about to say. We grew up in a culture where we understood that this position is sacred, ordained by the gods. Today, it can be bought with money. That is, you can buy that position of a fund with money. So to all the individuals that I have mentioned, when you are looking at investing in a country, there are different factors that you observe. When you are looking at the development of a nation, and if that nation is a good place to invest, there are different factors that you observe. And that is why I make this video. That is why I get engaged in these conversations. Because as we are building this new Cameroon, there are steps that other developed nations have taken that we will not wait 200 years in order to make that change. So the factors that you look at when you are building or investing in a nation, you look at different factors. So when you are investing in a nation or investing in a company, if we are attracting foreign investment, if we want to grow and scale businesses within our nation, there are several factors that we should consider. We use this model called the PISTEL analysis. You probably heard about the SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis, which the Amazonians have been propagating, those are very basic strategies to analyze investment. It just has to do with your weaknesses, right? They look at your opportunities, look at your threats, right? So the SWOT analysis is very basic when it comes to analyzing business. If you want to invest and ensure that what you are building will last, you do what I call a PISTEL analysis. For those who are business measures, you understand what that means. It simply means you observe the political factors affecting that nation. When we are talking about nation building, everyone is focused on the political factors affecting Cameroon. This is how basic and simplistic they've made transformation to look like. And so those who don't understand these things, you say, oh, if the president changes, the entire nation will change. And I stand up and I tell you, if the president changes, if the entire government in Cameroon changes, nothing will change. Why? Because there are 6 factors that determines the transformation of a nation. There are 6 factors that determines the growth of any nation, any investment. So there are political factors. There are institutional factors. Our tradition has an institution. That's why they call it traditional institution. There are institutional factors. There are social factors, of which traditional institutions play a significant role to the social factors of a nation, or the social factors affecting the nation. There are technological factors affecting the growth of a nation. There are economic factors as well as legal factors. Do you see this framework? I'm sure they've never told you this. They say just pick up a gun, go fight, the country will change. If you separate, the country will change. So there are political factors, institutional factors, there are social factors, technological factors, economic factors, and legal factors affecting the development or growth of a nation. This is nation building. Are you understanding? Now, when we started this mission, the objective was basic: economic empowerment. And in that process of economic empowerment, we will be addressing political, institutional, social, technological, economic, and legal factors that are affecting the growth of Cameroon. That is why I told everyone that this is a 20 years project. We have 50 steps to get there. And that is why we are guaranteed of success, because we have a plan. And if you hear me talking about issues like this in the community, understand that they fall under one of these factors, what we call PISTEL analysis. Many of you, your land has been confiscated by some of these funds. Slavery and slave trade that happened in this continent, when you see African Americans or Black Americans abroad, they came over there because our chiefs running these institutions cooperated in some of those transactions, if not most of those transactions, to sell your black brothers that you see today. That is why God made them to be alive. They were not castrated and their generation extinct, so that we can see the effect of slavery and slave trade. When they were about to colonize Africa, this institution played a significant role to the colonization of Africa. What they have done to you is let you know that this tradition is so precious. The white man is envious of your tradition, and that is why we must protect it. So immediately they told you that, you got into defense mode, because you looked at the West and you said, oh, they don't have tradition. We have tradition. It should be something special that the West don't like us to have. This is the conditioning that they have done on us. And so what happens? Even though we have the opportunity to travel abroad, yet we will pack those traditions in a bag and ship them in a plane so that we can be close to traditions. I want to make this video really short. So let me get straight to the point. Can you imagine that Eto'o feast is being crowned a Fons? You have been told your whole life this position is very sacred and come from the gods of your land. What are we teaching young people? Are you understanding? This traditional institution led by this Fons is one of the most corrupt institutions that we have in our community. They will do anything for money. This is not the first time we are seeing this. I don't want to go deep into that, but this is not the first time that we have seen these chiefs, because of greed and hunger for money and corruption, they've done this. Are you tracking? I want you to reason with me, because what I'm about to say is very important. Let me highlight some key negative effects of this institution, because you don't understand the consequence of this institution. You might ignore the effect because you come around that fund and you feel good, like you have a chief. Today, most nations are being led through democracy. When you ask yourself the question, why you don't have jobs in Cameroon? You cannot succeed in a corrupt nation, number one. You cannot succeed in a nation that is governed by both monarchy and democracy. That is number two. People are not free to expand and invest because of this institution. That is number three. And you can go into all of the semantics, but this is the effect of this institution in our community. I want you to watch that video again. This is sad. That you, a Northwesterner, in a time of a crisis like this, the people that you hold dear to your heart and respect as Fons rise up and do this. After we have lost more than 40,000 men and women, these chiefs and Fons rise up and do something like this. This is a shame. This is an abomination. This is a disgrace as to what it means to come from the Anglophone zone. This is a blow to our face. Are you understanding? When we are doing this PISTEL analysis, these are some of the political impact of these traditional institutions led by Fons. Number one, write it down. Parallel power structure. The power structure is parallel. So we have democracy and traditional monarchy, which affects the way people even think in a community. You go to the fund, they give a different ruling over a case. You go to the court, you hear a different ruling over that same case. Confusion in the community. My family has fought one of the highest court cases in the entire Anglophone zone. And my father was a custodian of that tradition. fighting to maintain that tradition. Lost all his money in court cases with relatives to maintain this tradition. He lost the case. He won at the customary court in Bamenda, but lost at the Supreme Court in Yaoundé. That is to say, law of a rights tradition. My father's entire wealth went into that case. So when I stand up today to speak on this subject, I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a court case that lasted for more than 20 years. It's been taught in other universities across Africa. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So this is what it does for us. Number 2, institutional impact. Corruption and hierarchical leadership. This is what this so-called chief fund position does for you. I want you to always benchmark this with why you are struggling, why you are broke, why you're poor. They've made sure that they condition you to value culture over economic development. This is the conditioning with this system. And the way they enforce that is through rituals, through death and birth celebrations, dowry, bride price, land transactions. They make sure that they enforce this into you as much as they can. Are you understanding? That is why, to be a nation builder, that we can be able to see the development that we desire in this generation, you must be able to come in here with a blank canvas, with a brain that is empty, so that you can fit in new information. Are you tracking? So the social impact is tribalism and division. We have 250 ethnic groups in the country. Who do you think lead those groups? The Fons, the Chiefs. There are people that will not hire you for a job because you do not come from their tribe. There are people that will not hire you for a job because you do not belong to their group. Tribalism, a very dangerous and deadly factor when it comes to development. Technological factor, resistance to digital transformation. There are some areas that are difficult to penetrate and bring about development because there's a tree standing there that they have told you that this tree came from the gods, and so this tree cannot be put down. Whereas it is just sheer manipulation. There is nothing in that tree that has any effect over your life, but you have been conditioned to think so. So resistance to digital transformation. Number 5, land grabbing and resource exploitation. I know of many people that their land has been seized by a fund. Your family can attest if you've experienced such. Are you understanding? What happens if you have plans to develop your land and that land is seized by a fund and they give you all sorts of reasons? Where will you go? And the last, the lack of legal authority. When the government says one thing, the fund says something else. They say this is how we should deal with the cops. If somebody dies, they put them in the mortuary. You take them out of the mortuary, you go bury them. No, tradition says you can experiment on the body. There are some parts that we need to take out of that body. These are the factors that this institution plays in the development of our nation. Now, they've told you that your tradition is sacred and special, that the white man is envious of your tradition. And I want to burst your bubble right now. Do you know that Franks had over 60 tribes? 60 Celtic tribes. occultic tribes. 60. The Franks, that most of those guys, including Samuel Eto'o, travel over there. I want to let you know Franks had over 60 tribes. Under the leadership of Clovis the First, those tribes were dissolved because they were bringing about the same problems that we are facing today. So, but if we can get you to think that someone wants to take your tribe from you, now you put up a defense, and so with that you get to keep the tribe for maybe 100, 200, 300 years. Even when the tribe works against you in every way, shape, or form, economically and otherwise. So we are not the first. Whatever we are going through, there are others around the world, other nations that have experienced what we are going through. And the strategy for this economic development plan coined out in this book, The Cameroon Dream, is basic. Look at what successful nations have done. Copy from them. Don't copy one aspect of their development and then you hold on to another aspect of your tribe, because it will not work. And that is why you see when the Lord was giving the commandments to Moses, the first, Israel, the Lord your God is one. And if you remember in the Bible very well, there was a time a man called Simon the sorcerer wanted to buy the gifts of the Holy Spirit. And Peter told him that this is not for sale. This is not one of your magics. If today we can see this position that they have conditioned us to think it is sacred, being sold because there is no other reason. It is just because Samuel Eto'o is famous and has money. That is it. Full stop. There's no other reason why Samuel Eto'o is made fun. There's no other reason why someone will be crowned Fons or Fons. It is fame and money. They will sell that tradition. They will sell that tradition. I bet you, if I make the kind of money that these people think that I'm famous, they can make me fun. And then the question is, if we can buy this God, why are you keeping it when we can pay it off as well? My point for this message is very basic. And I've thought carefully about what I'm about to say. From this day henceforward, if you desire development in that nation, if you desire change, if you want to be the individual that broke the status quo, that we stood up in this generation and did what every other nation in Africa could not do, and we set that example for other nations to follow, today, that position of chiefs and Fons is abolished in Cameroon. I repeat, the position of Fons and chiefs is abolished in Cameroon. We will not have that position anymore. The Fons and the chiefs should report to their local authority like any other citizen in Cameroon. 250 ethnic groups corrupt Fons and chiefs. From today, that position of Fons and chiefs is abolished. You don't pay homage to them anymore. Treat them like you treat any other citizens. If there are aspects of our culture that we desire, we can celebrate those aspects of our culture without the chiefs, without the Fons. Because I know there are aspects of our culture that makes us unique. We will maintain those cultures. But this division and corrupt leaders that we've grown our entire life, understanding that what they are came from God, is abolished in this land. This is the first step towards progress, taking this radical decision, and we'll make sure that we follow up with the law, partner with nations partner with governments and organizations from other nations to make sure that this become a reality. That position is abolished. You cannot lose 40,000 plus of your people and you go and crown Samuel Eto'o a fund at this time. This is wrong. I said this is off. This is a blow to our face. This is an insult as to what it means to be an Anglophone. You guys have done this to us. It is not the first time. You've sold our brothers and slaves to foreigners. You've participated for our colonization. Now you're doing this. Anywhere you see them, speak and talk to them as any other citizen. They told you can never greet a phone, but we have seen these phones greet people. And yet they claim that their position is from God. They make you lay down before them as though they are God. And this is what they do before us. And everybody sit down and watch this. We are better than this. What do you think others will say when they look at us? Is this how stupid we are? Is this how corrupt we are? Which nation can trust us to come invest in our land? We want to attract foreign investments and really stop this begging on social media, giveaway everywhere. We will develop this country and build it. I repeat, there are 50 steps to transforming this country, and we are not going to give up. You guys have indoctrinated our young people, manipulated our young people, send them in harm's way, and you're doing this? And you're doing this? No. We will not take this anymore. And that is why some of us went to school, so that we study, we know the truth, because the truth will set us free. I want to repeat this again. Emphatically, this position of Fons and Chiefs, I'm going to send out a communique on this, is abolished in Cameroon. For all the reasons that I've mentioned, go back and watch this video if you're just joining now, from the beginning right to this point. This step that we have taken, as we enforce it, we will have respect around the world. There are nations that will come to Cameroon to invest because of this decision. Because unity will start. You will start loving people, not because they come from your tribe. You love them because they are Cameroonians. You give people jobs, not because they come from your tribe. You give people jobs because they are qualified. A system of meritocracy. We will start it in our local communities. As we change it there, it will change at the level of a state. But right here, never again. So take off all those hats and all those things you wear around as Fons and as a chief, because this reign of Fons and Chiefs in Cameroon has come to an end. It is a disgrace that some of us, including Samuel Eto'o, you've lived in foreign nations, studied in foreign nations, interacted in foreign nations, to come back and adopt this title is a disgrace. It's a disgrace to us. That there's no progress for us. There's no hope for us. The white people had traditions. Every nation in Europe had traditions. Abolish those traditions because they understood what it was doing to people. Frustrating the lives of citizens. Keeping them bound. And today you can sell it. What are we teaching the young people? That they too can go get money and come buy that position. What are we teaching them? Corruption in broad daylight. say corruption in broad daylight. Some of us are stuck in nations abroad because of the frustration that you guys have brought upon us with these corrupt practices, greed for money. You can't even hide it. It's right there in the open. Corruption. It comes to an end. I wanted to keep this video short, so go ahead and share the video and let everyone in the nation know. Just like we put an end to the Ambazonian War, and you've seen everything stop, we are putting an end to this one. The reign of Fons and Chiefs in Cameroon has come to an end. And we are not looking back. It's forward ever. If you have skills as a fund, go get a job. Go get a job. If you don't have skills, go learn one. This position is not helping us. And it's not helping you even. Because for you to be a corrupt human being is not helping you at all. It's time to change. So for those who are probably watching me for the very first time, I'm Roland. I'm the founder of the Cameroon Sustainable Development Project, CSDP. In French, Projet Développement Durable Camerounais, PDDC. This organization was created to bridge the gap between the government and the private sector. So this organization was created to empower the private sector of Cameroon. The umbrella vision is the Cameroon dream. It is a dream of a brighter future, better than where we find ourselves right now. We have a newspaper out there called the Cameroon Times. We have a consultancy firm called Guarantee Magnet. We have a university called Nation Builders University to train Cameroonians to become nation builders. We have CSDPhope.org, that is our official website. And there are a lot of resources on that website that you can find. This is what we stand for. To change this nation for good. This is not some cruise on social media for followings. This is not influencer business here. This is transformation business. And social media happens to be that big. But there's a lot of work that we are doing that is not online. And if you have heart for this country and you feel pain about the systems that have you bound and you desire change in this country, click a link below and join the group and join the movement. Have an open mind. They've caged you for so long you cannot even think. They don't even want you to speak. They want to manipulate and subject you. When you see black people struggling, it is always black people holding other black people for whatever reason, but it stops in this generation. And they will always act like the savior. They will always act like they're protecting you. They will always act like they have your best interest at heart. But the goal is to subject you and cripple you. But we are igniting a new spirit from now moving forward. That is full of love, understanding, charity, helping one another, each one help one. That is the strategy that we are using to build this country moving forward. If you work hard, we will support you. If you have talent, we will promote you. If you have gifts, we are going to expand those gifts and help you reach all that God created you to be on earth. That is what we stand for. You cannot play that nonsense here. Our people will be free in this generation. We'll put the right books, the right tools, the right information in their hands, and they will find their way. They will build their country. I want you to share your thoughts as well in the comment section. Tell me what you think in the comment section, because I've read a lot of comments on these videos. Some of them are crazy. You just hear what young people are saying. Let me look up some of those comments and read them as we wrap up the session. Can you imagine? This is where we find ourselves today. I hope this video helped you. Let's open our eyes and think.